If you've been following my podcast, then you know that I did one on false police reports against Black men on the rise. So, right now, there are white citizens in America that are filing these false police reports against Black men, and it's on the rise. And these police reports have absolutely no merit. There is no crime that took place. In this situation that happened in Oregon, of all places, so we know, you know what direction this article is going in. And he got caught up in the system, and again, with allegations that were false. It was false, and this employer that he worked for were in good with these cops. And that's how he was able to pull this off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I tell you over and over, the system is rigged. It has been rigged from the start against our people. And this story will just drive that point home once again. This is why you will never come around me and pull off that Black people are the most violent crap, because I know how your system is set up. It is set up to be against us. It is rigged up against us. The citizens are lying on Black people. The police are lying on Black people, and you're all in cahoots with each other. And that's how it's been from the start. So this is NBC News. A Black Oregon man told his boss about discrimination at work. Then he was arrested. So this employer tried to imply, because this man by the name of Michael Fesser complained about how he was being discriminated on the job. They were using racial slurs on this man and everything. And he went to complain. And unfortunately, that is the biggest problem in America. When you go to complain, you are complaining to a boss that looks just like the perpetrator that's bothering you. And that is the root cause of why there is so much discrimination going on jobs, because that person don't give a damn about what you're going through, and they show it, and they're not afraid to show it either. All right, y'all. So let's get into this story that came out February 11th, 2020. A Black man from Oregon sued the city of Westland, alleging that police officers unlawfully surveilled him at work and then falsely arrested him in retaliation for having raised complaints with his employer about racial discrimination. So this man was enduring this bullshit every day, like many Black people do around this country. He's one of many. Michael Fesser of Portland claimed in the suit, an amended version of which was filed last month in U.S. District Court in Portland, that the incident left him suffering from emotional distress and resulted in economic damages. He sued the city and several members of the Westland Police Department for false arrests, malicious prosecution, defamation, and invasion of privacy. So this is Michael Fesser in the picture. Westland Police began investigating Fesser in February 2017 after Fesser raised concerns to his boss, Eric Benson, owner of A&B Towing, that he was being racially discriminated against at work. According to separate court documents, Fesser said the discrimination included coworkers calling him racial slurs, which is another common thing happening on these jobs across America. I have heard this even before I was in the workforce. That's how long this kind of stuff has been going on. It's been going on well beyond that. After he raised his concern, Benson contacted Westland Police Chief Terry Timus, who he's friends with. He's friends with this police chief. So as you can see, he uses the police as a weapon against Black people, just like all of these folks out here calling the police on Black folks when there is no crime or nothing going on. They use the police department as a weapon against us, and persuaded him to look into allegations that Fesser had stolen from the company. Okay, so what did he steal? That's way too general. Stolen what? What was stolen? According to the lawsuit, the suit said the theft allegations were false and unsubstantiated. But with the approval of Westland Police Lieutenant Mike Stradley, detectives Terry Reeves and Mike Boyd use audio and video equipment to watch Fesser while he was at work, according to the suit. Well, he should not have been placed under surveillance unless there was some kind of warrant on this man. So if they did this with no warrant, then this whole surveillance that they did on him gets thrown out in court. Always remember that, ladies and gentlemen. They can't snoop on you like that without any probable cause. And they did this to this man, all based on a complaint of him being discriminated against, and people were using racial slurs on him on a job. So this was what his boss did in retaliation. The surveillance was conducted without a warrant or probable cause and did not result in any evidence that Fesser was stealing from his employer. The lawsuit said no, because this was retaliation. His boss was butt sore that he came in there and made a complaint against probably employees that he favored. He favored these people. That's what it was. And he didn't give a damn about this dude, Michael Fesser. He didn't care about him. And that's usually always the case. Regardless, Westland officers, with the help of Portland police officers, arrested Fesser days later based on Reeves and Stradley's false representation to Portland police that they had probable cause for an arrest. So they couldn't find nothing when they had him under surveillance, so they falsified a police report and got Portland police involved in arresting this man, all based on a lie, all stemming from discrimination on the job. Sergeant Reeves and Sergeant Boyd unlawfully arrested and detained and interrogated Mr. Fesser in Portland outside their jurisdiction without probable cause, the suit said, adding that the two officers took Fesser's personal belongings, and listen to this, y'all, including papers expressing his concerns about racial discrimination at work. And that was the point. That was the point. That was the whole point. That's what they were after. They were after his written complaint. Fesser spent about 8 hours at the police station before he was released on his own recognizance. He was later contacted by Westland Police to come to the station to retrieve some of his belongings. While he was there, officers informed Fesser that he had been fired from his job. Okay, so wait a minute. Your boss didn't fire you? He had the police tell you you were fired? Okay, that in itself, he got them. Okay, nobody outside of your employers can fire you like that, not unless you work for an agency. If you work for an employment agency and you were contracted to that job, then yes, that can occur. But the police telling him he's fired from his job and his employer didn't do that himself, no, that's unacceptable. And I know he got to write that in this complaint. The police have no jurisdiction at that place of employment, and therefore they can't tell you you're fired. So it sounds like his boss was a coward. Instead of dealing with the discrimination, he took the cowardly way out, trying to get the cops to gang up on this guy. So the employer was just as racist as the employees that were harassing him. That's why he couldn't get no traction or help there. Wow. This is bullshit. according to the lawsuit. So when he went up to the police station, they informed him that he was fired from his job instead of his actual employer doing it. The Westland defendant's surveillance, arrest, incarceration, and interrogation of Mr. Fesser without a warrant or probable cause, and their pursuit of baseless criminal charges against Fesser were racially motivated, retaliatory. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, what these cops did was abuse their power, and so did his employer by falsifying a crime against this man that he was stealing from the company, and it was unfounded. Okay. So they all joined together along with the coworkers, and they all ganged up on this man. According to the lawsuit, criminal charges and the arrests were filed and until after Fester sued his employer over his termination and for discrimination. The charges were later dismissed. During the litigation of the lawsuit against his employers, Fester, hold on, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. The dogs were just getting a bit too loud. Those are my neighbor's dogs. Fesser learned that the Westland Police investigation into the alleged theft began as a favor to his former boss, according to the suit. Text messages revealed that the legal proceeding showed that Reeves and Benson discussed the investigation. On one message, Reeves said Fesser should be arrested before he went further with his racial discrimination complaint against his job, so it would not look like retaliation. You see how they planned this whole thing out on this man? Mm-mm-mm. They were all in on it. Oh, wow. The city of Westland has since settled the lawsuit and agreed to pay Fesser $600,000. I wish he would have got more than that, because they detained this man illegally. He should have gotten well over $1 million, in my opinion. I'm just saying. The lawsuit against his employer was settled with in March of 2018 for $415,000. I mean, he got over $1 million, but to me, this should have been more. This should have been way more. And that employer should have been forking out more than $415,000. It should have been way more than that. You know, this man went through hell based on people retaliating against him and lying on him, making up a crime that never happened, detaining him illegally with no warrant. No, I mean, I'm glad he got a payout, but in my opinion, it should have been way more. They're lucky this didn't happen to me, because they would have been forking out more money. Paul Buchanan, Fesser's attorney, said his client is pleased with both cases have been resolved. He's doing fine, Buchanan said. This was not about money for him. This was about that they should not be allowed to do this. According to Buchanan, the settlement against the police department could be the largest in the state for a wrongful arrest. Wow. You know, they did this and did not care, y'all. They didn't care, because you know what? In most cases, they probably would have gotten away with this. Easy. A&B Towing and the Portland Police Department did not immediately return requests for comments. The Westland Police Department said in a statement, is not an admission of liability. Yes, it is. If you forked over $600,000, that's exactly what it is. Yes, it is. The city of Westland and the Westland Police Department do not tolerate any acts of discrimination or, oh, yes, y'all do. You do every day across America. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And there's all kinds of proof that the Black community gets treated differently from everybody else. That is a damn lie. The statement is a lie. It's a lie, y'all. In 2018, when the allegations were first reported, an internal investigation was conducted and swift and appropriate disciplinary and personnel action was taken. This is just bullshit from the police department, y'all. This is the same bullshit we hear all the time. Oh, we don't discriminate, but there's all kinds of evidence that they do discriminate heavily when they're dealing with us. It's a bold-faced lie. I'm glad this guy got settlement. In my opinion, he deserved more. Y'all can tell me what you think in the comment section, but this is nothing but the norm in America. It really is. I'm just sorry he went through this, but discrimination on jobs is common, everyday occurrence in America. Police being used as a weapon against Black people, common everyday occurrences in America. And we see that in the phone calls these people make on Black people when there's no crime going on. And they actually, when you watch those videos, mainly of these white women doing it, when you watch the videos, they start the whole altercation and everything from start to finish. But they're the ones calling the police. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been going on for centuries, and it will go on centuries more if these folks remain in charge. Just count on it. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.